welcome guys to another episode of Connections. How are you guys doing?
Good evening, very well.
I am fabulous. How are you guys doing?
Very well, thank you. Just, I think I'm coming down with something. That's why I've got
Yeah,
all these
you
layers.
dressed. You are like.
Yeah.
I know you dressed.
I just recovered. Yeah, no, like, things are good in studio tonight. Tonight we're talking about something heavy, but we're going to try and be upbeat
Positive
about
about
it.
it.
We're talking about
Polite
drug
about it.
and alcohol abuse.
Yeah,
in the
amongst
youth of
teenagers.
Today, why are you drinking?
Why?
Why are you drugging? Why are we making that sound?
Why are we actually? Welcome
No,
to
but
it,
that's
guys.
the mood. That's the mood in AA. Not that I've been there, but really.
So Luton knows how AA is, ne? But no, seriously, we all see it on TV. Hi, I'm Dikano.
Do not. No, we should not be. We should not be shaming anyone.
Yeah.
We'll not be judging anyone.
Yeah, that's
We're
what
going to
it
try to
is.
keep this as PC as possible. So it's social health and drugs and alcohol this evening. So in a South African context, what do you think are the most easily accessible drugs? Wait, no, tell people how to talk to us. Yes.
Well, before Unati yapped away my ear, I'm just joking. Welcome to it, guys. Dumela mo hi. Connections Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday rather. And as I like to say it, and Luto doesn't like this, but I'm gonna make him do it today. Do it with me.
I'm on mute. I'm on
No,
mute.
you have to do it with me. You too, Unati. Wellness Wednesday, we are talking everything mind, body, and spirit. Guys, come on. Come on.
Kill the
You're on your own.
You guys are such meanies. You are not my friends. You are off my friend list.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We aren't your friends, we're your
You're still
co-hosts.
going to see us, yes. You
I
can't
never
hide
met
from
such
Putting it
mean
out
people.
there.
Okay, the big five. The
Oh
big
my
five. The
word.
big five.
Anyway, guys, you can connect with us in this very interesting topic. Facebook, Twitter, email, phone us, SMS us. You know it by now. www.facebook.com/Mindset Connections. And we are on Twitter at Connections319. Please do call us. We want to hear from you guys. I want to hear somebody's voice at home. Please. Our number is 086-105-8262. And then, of course, you can send us an SMS with all your thoughts, your suggestions, what you would like to see on the show, how it felt when Luto went to AA, because he has just confessed that he's been at AA. So
He's
if you
on
want
the own
to...
again. Like,
If you want to find all that out, SMS us. Our number is 083-448810. And finally, email us connections@mindset.co.za. I am just joking, Luto.
Fantastic.
yeah, before you
finally.
mislead our viewers
Before
at home,
I
like,
mislead everyone, I'm joking.
I knew he was on that. Whatever it is that
What
they
voice is
suspect.
that? Like, where does it come from? It sounds like a dying chicken. Like, what's happening?
Someone's
Sorry,
been killing
sorry,
chickens.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to take
Someone's
the
been
mickey
killing
out of you
chickens.
anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So in the South African context, what are the most common drugs available in this country? What do you think they are?
I would say painkillers, but I don't know.
Well, you need to have a high scheduled painkiller for it to have any real effect on you. I mean, you need a
Yeah.
prescription, and that's a mission.
Okay, then it would have to be insang, weed.
Yeah, pot,
Yeah,
dacha.
weed. Definitely.
For me, I think not that I'm like all clued up on woo or drugs or whatever it is, but with your geological location, you know, determines what you easily accessible to, what you're exposed to, your social ring, people you associate with, all those features determine what is easily exposed to you. That's what I reckon.
Yeah.
And but yeah, if you're this side of life, like north or whatever it is, not really, segregating people into, those locations.
Okay.
Point being,
Yes.
your location determines what is exposed to you.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose so. And also your reaction to the substance, I guess. Why would you do something that didn't make you feel good? But then again, you're not supposed to be doing these things in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
they're
we are not
illegal.
here to judge.
Yeah, we're not.
Remember?
We're not here to judge.
You're not here to
but
judge,
you are
but-
breaking the law.
Besides your law, you like breaking down your body.
No, breaking down your body, and it's not good for you. It's not good for you. You must stay strong.
Yeah, but I
Stay
would
strong.
say, I don't know if you guys have caught on the media buzz, but now there's this huge new drug that is, I don't know if it's new, but it is like seriously on the media. The media is taking a ride on it in Nyaupe, which Nyaupe, it is a mixture of of a whole lot of stuff.
Name the
Trust
ARVs,
me.
which we don't understand.
ARVs. You've got detergents.
Okay,
going
fine,
on.
whatever. If you want to like damage your body, fine. If you want to put
Go
vim in you,
ahead,
okay,
go
that's your
ahead.
problem in life. But like, like ARVs, why are you hurting somebody else as well? But I suppose that's a problem with drug use.
And you know, when I was I knew about Inyaupe like a while ago, and the thing, how do you know? Well, this ARV drug is gonna get you high. I mean, it's a pill that's supposed to save lives, but you use it to get high. How do you even know that an ARV is gonna make you high?
I suppose it comes down to like the chemical compound and how those compounds would react with the human body, and if you combine them with, let's say, vim and
red poison.
But here's my thing.
Tetracannabinoids in THC in marijuana, then that might have an effect on you that would make you high.
Having said Likano's point, right, the people that use it, okay, and the age that it's like targeted at,
Yeah,
it's
very
not
young
like
people.
those people are exposed to science labs
Exactly.
where they know if I
Exactly.
mix chemical bond, what
And
I'm not a
red
science
poison,
person,
I'm gonna
be
and
on
I mix
another
with
level.
this,
So you're just
gonna,
this
like,
is the high that I'm
undermine
gonna
the
get.
masses.
No.
No, we're
that
not
you're
undermining,
not
but
that you're
no, let's be
undermining.
realistic, Unati. You are 16. You ARV.
Do you realize that meth is sometimes cooked in caravans? Caravans. You don't need a lab. This is not Breaking Bad. Okay, moving on to
guys,
alcohol.
come on, no.
Alcohol consumption. I think in South Africa, we're one of the countries with one of the highest levels of alcohol consumption.
I agree
Are we
with
just
you.
sad? Like, what's wrong with us?
I agree with you, definitely.
It is sad. And I mean, a few months ago, was it last year or earlier this year? Kids were seen walking, you know, in their school uniform
Oh,
during
yes.
school
I
time,
remember.
everything. They're coming
And they were
from
like
Shabine
proudly
and
holding
they're
the bottle.
their bottles of beer. And
I
I'm thinking,
remember.
Brother Bear, surely you should be in class, you know, focused. I mean, it's like 11 o'clock, it's not even
Yo.
lunchtime,
Yo.
and you're downing and good. I
You
mean,
know,
who
but
does that?
I don't know. I think drinking in high school, I mean, at some stage, most students, I'd say 80%, have probably done it, but they shouldn't. It's really...
Yeah, they shouldn't, but the reality is
dangerous.
it happens. And whether our parents know it or they don't, truth of the matter is shame. Teenagers...
It happens,
yeah.
and that's why we even here today to even talk about
Mm,
it.
it happens.
You
But
know,
also,
because
like, I
it's not
think-
something that can be hidden.
Because, I mean, the retailer at some point needs to be able to be like, okay, you guy are like a baby, dude. You are nothing
Nah,
but a baby. You're like, you're
retailers.
tiny. But at the end of the day, like...
Money,
Bills to
money,
pay,
money.
Yeah. yeah.
So it's really difficult to control, I suppose.
Bills to pay. What about the license? Because surely you've got a
Well,
license
then somebody
to
must
sell
report
alcohol.
it. Yeah, well, then somebody must report it. But I mean, it's, you know, done clever and you don't rat,
No,
no
but guys,
snitching, what.
have you noticed? I don't know if you guys do it, but we have a lot of traditional umcimbi and all that. And then you get your traditional beer.
Yeah.
And I guess it's also going back to saying that we as young people, we drink, actually we learn from our elders.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that
Can we
statement?
just translate umcimbi, the situation,
Umcimbi.
family situation?
Gatherings, man. Listen to
Am
your
I correct?
situation.
Yeah.
No,
It is.
no. Okay.
I've got a
it's a-
umcimbi going on. It's like a situation out there.
Oh gosh, no.
Right now.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, your family mcimbi, you're saying?
Yeah, no, I was saying, and you see like everybody's, it's
Happy,
happy,
yeah,
they jolly,
man.
you know, and it's like traditional beer, and you see the young ones, they picking up on it.
That's nice.
What do
They wanna taste. But for Nugas,
Yeah, I
what
suppose,
do you feel?
Yeah, it's learned behavior, I guess. But what people don't understand is that you need to understand the full ramifications of the substance that you're putting into your body. You can't go drinking alcohol before you know what alcohol actually does
to you.
your brain and your chemical levels, and what happens when you're in that state, and what happens at like drink 1, drink 2, drink 3, drink 4, drink 5. By the time you're walking around like this,
Your tongue is just swollen.
do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you've got to understand what that means and whether you want to be out of control like that, because it leaves you extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're a walking target
Yeah.
because
yeah.
you have no idea. You don't know your ass from your elbow.
Then again, it boils down to like family. You know what I mean? We heard earlier from our producer, she was like, yeah, no, her dad exposed her to this. And it was like, try it, and whatnot. And obviously they got smashed out of their minds. And after, since that day, she was like, I ain't keen on it, type of thing. But every family will have their standards.
Yeah.
You know, it won't all be the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And although some may have strict laws than others and whatnot, now that's when the rebellion comes in.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it all goes down to where you're exposed to.
circumstance,
Yeah, or the situation.
It's some cleanly. Gosh.
Yeah.
Like what's going on. And I mean, alcohol is a social lubricant. People like feel like they actually can't have fun anymore without having a drink, and it's ridiculous. Do you want to go karting when you've had like beer?
But that's the culture.
Yeah.
You've got the fire going on there, you got your braai going on, and there's like a beer. You cannot picture.
It's like they're like completely like not mutually exclusive at all.
Yeah.
Like
You cannot picture a braai stand without one.
Yeah.
You know. And
But
even at bottle stores, not that I'm familiar with them, but not that I'm familiar with them, but they'll have this, buy these and stand a chance to win this braai stand. I'm like, could I not get my own braai stand at a warehouse, you know, these outdoor stores or whatnot?
Are you killing two birds with one stone? Go for it.
Right?
Yeah,
Process
I
it
don't
all.
know. I think people need to be a bit more responsible about their choices. Also wait until you can actually cognize the choice that you're about to make. Otherwise,
I have a question for you, actually. You see a girl, you at a chiller somewhere, is like what she has in her class or whatever it is that she is drinking, does it make her less attractive or more attractive?
Yes or no? You know, we've
yes
actually. Can I elaborate on it,
yes
rather?
or no question. Okay, fine.
Elaborate. It's one of those in high school. If you say yes, substantiate. You say no, give a reason why.
Okay,
October is stima sakho. You know, so it settles your stima, your what can I say? What stima translates?
It lessens.
It tones down. It lessens your
inhibitions.
inhibitions. Thank you. Word of the day,
okay,
even. You know, and you kind of. And it also depends where you see them, you know. It's like, number one, what you doing here? Number two, what's in your glass? You know, nowadays, apparently, girls be carrying beer in their hand, you know, just to drink whatever is there, you know, not having them buy more or whatever it is. Okay. So it does have an impact to their image.
All right. Well, it's time for us to go off and have like a private chat by ourselves.
While you go get a glass of water.
Go get a glass of water or orange juice or something healthy. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, we're talking drugs and alcohol this evening. I hope you enjoyed your clean glass of water and orange juice. I hope you're feeling refreshed and ready to keep going. Tonight, we've got a guest with us. A recovered addict, as it were, and social activist.
Yes.
Self-proclaimed, but I think it's all there. Nhlanhla Ngozi, welcome to the show.
No, it's a treat to be here. And I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, Nhlanhla, also known as Bruno, depending as whom is watching or listening. He's a social activist, as per mentioned, and extremely obsessed, you know, with regard of change, transformation, you know, and touching and influencing people's lives. That is who I am in a nutshell.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Excellent.
We've just touched on that. You're a recovering addict. Tell us what were you addicted to, and how did you become addicted to this? What point of your life, you know, were you exposed to this, and how did you get hooked on it?
Okay, most predominantly it was alcohol. You know, much as I was exposed to other, you know, substances, but the key thing here was alcohol, you know. I mean, for people who knew me, they would understand that now from 2007 to 2009, you know, my life was heading for destruction, so they say. So basically, it was alcohol in that sense. I had no drive, you know, I had no purpose. I was drinking because it was done, you know, I was drinking because it was available, but in a long-term run, it almost crushed me because now I was doing it without any form of knowledge or understanding as to what I was doing. So it was dangerous in that sense.
Okay. Okay, and how was your social life during this period? Would you say that your social life kind of contributed to your addiction?
Not that maybe I'm playing a blame game, but I would say yes, in a sense that now alcohol, it's available, you know. from where I come from, we have about 6 to 7 taverns, competing with one library. Okay. So now if you'd wake up in the morning and say, if you'd wake up in the morning and say, do not drink, yet, alcohol is available, and you say I must go and read, yet books are not available, then it becomes paradoxical, because now you are telling me something that which is not available, and that which you are trying to restrict me from, it is available. So our society, it did, influence my addictions or, my destruction in that sense.
You've mentioned society and the basic topology that you've just given us of the taverns outnumbering library or any other forms of educational places that you can reach access to books and so forth. But surely, because when you get addicted to things, I suppose you're not alone.
Yes,
there are other people coming with you. What influence did your friends have in all this?
To be quite honest, no friend influenced me, but I think I influenced most of my friends, because normal people, they say I'm influential, but negatively, which is why it was easy for me to resort and bounce back, because now, if there's one thing I was given by God, it is a voice, So I had now to reverse and positively utilize my voice, So in most cases, I had that influence, so I was the key or the ringleader, so they say, So the mandate and the program, it came through me.
Okay.
That's great.
And at what point did you realize that you were addicted to alcohol? And how did you even begin to kind of claw your way back into recovery and into life again?
If there's one thing that we are freely given, it is the power of questions, Not yet adequate with issues of pregnancy, but we are told that now when you are within your mother's womb, at times the child is kicking and moving and shaking, So I had to ask myself one critical question is to say, could it be that my mother thought that the measure in which I'm moving in her tummy, could I move the world in this sense, And when I analyzed and interrogated my life, I then realized that the world is moving me instead of me moving the world. Then I had now to reflect, I had now to be sober mentally, because it's one thing to be physically sober. If you are mentally drunk, then you're just wasting your time. So I had to be mentally sober and reflect, and ask myself some deep questions to say, who am I, And when I came to that answer, it changed the course of my life. To say, I'm better than the very best, So that is me.
How did you recover? Did you just stop, or did you join a program?
If there's one thing with ignorance, what it does, at times there are entities available, in your surrounding, but because you are so ignorantly, you don't see them,
Okay.
So when I began to distance myself from, a certain environment in which I was familiar with it, I began to see other things, within the very same house that I was living in, there were books. It began there, So they say I'm a bookworm, because I believe that information, it is the currency of destiny, It determines your purchasing power in the marketplace of life. So if you want to succeed, and stand your ground, you need to be informed. It matters not whether you have a degree or not, but, be informed, know the course of your life and pursue it, So it began there through reading, and being exposed to positive and relevant information. So that's when my rehabilitation began.
Yay, excellent. Yay, reading.
Yeah.
Reading.
You could be a poet.
Reading. High five.
You mentioned earlier that you were influential. You were the one that influenced, your mates and those that were around you at that given point in time. But when you decided to, take a shot left and recover, hit that recovery road, were you influential enough to, take that short left with those friends that you managed to influence? Were you influential enough to, convince them that, guys, let's take this safer route?
This endeavor, it is like philosophy. Philosophers are not popular in most cases.
Yeah, they kind of poison them.
Or
stone them to death.
Definitely. Like Jesus, he was not popular, and Buddha, he was not popular, So if you pursue purpose, if you stand your ground, that's when you see who your real friends are, Because they say too much of something is toxic, but too much of something that is, murder, it's suicide. You understand? So now I had now to, let's say for example, this room, it's, maybe it's my bedroom, yeah? And now the lights are off, and I want to clean this room. I cannot succeed in cleaning the room if the lights are still off, you know. So for me to succeed in cleaning the room, someone has to switch on the light so that I can see what is happening, so that I can be able to organize and place my room in order. So that's what happened in my life, that now there was a certain light or a certain illumination. Then I began to see that now, this is not my friend, but we are just, you know, gallivanting and coasting and just enjoying life, but I needed more than that.
Okay.
So I took, it was a road less traveled.
And I actually don't even feel bad for that, because I mean, I suppose his recovery alone would be example enough for them to see,
Yeah.
hey, maybe, you know, let's sober up our own minds and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
maybe that is the correct route that he's taken.
It's life.
course.
You know, and yeah, it's one thing.
How did your parents react to your addiction?
Yeah, that is a very deep one and
Yeah.
an interesting question, because I grew up living with my grandmother, you know, and they were not strict. My mom was very strict, you know. So when I did all this nonsense, it was in her absence, you know. She would see or hear things that now your son did this or he did this and that and that. But there was one time, there was a popular party in my area, and I sneaked out. That's when I got this car.
Okay.
You know, someone smashed me with a bottle, you know, and now they wanted to know what's happening, because we think you are this good boy, you know. Like, there's a difference in appearing good and being good, you know. So I would appear good, but internally I would know that, you know, I'm just out. So it was kind of like a mixed emotion. My grandmother knows this side, and grandmothers, you need to know them, they are protective, you know. They won't expose you, whereas your mothers, they confront you, and they want to know. So now I was living like, you know, under the ground, not knowing who am I. Even my parents, they don't understand to say, who am I, you know. So
Yeah.
it was, that's why I'm saying it's interesting and quite paradoxical, because I lived most of my life not knowing you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that kind of a voyage.
Awesome.
That's great. Now, we know you've hit the recovery process, obviously. How long have you remained clean for now, or sober?
You know, I'll say this with confidence. You know, if there's anyone who's watching me and who knows me, they will attest. I've been sober, I've been clean, I've been positive, I've been influential for 3 full years, you know, without tasting, without touching, without even premeditating of drinking. You know, I've been clean for 3 full years, and I'm saying that with confidence, without any mask and without being hypocritical.
No, that's commendable,
Excellent.
because not many people can
Congratulations.
actually, you know,
Say that.
and
Or, can,
actually,
or keep count.
yeah, yeah.
Tell us about the work that you do with young people.
Wow. Yeah, you know, that is the cradle of who I am, you know, because if there's one thing about illumination, or if there's one thing about empowerment, is that when it hits you, you want to share it, you know. It began with reading. I was reading books, and I saw that this information is too much for me, and now I needed to share it with other people. Then I called 2 friends of mine, not friends as such, but people who are in my area, and said, you know, why not go to schools and just run workshops, you know? You do things without any idea. You think because you read a book by a certain motivational speaker, he is a speaker, you think it's that easy, you know? So we began with career exhibitions, you know, combining learners in one place. The first session, it was extremely poor because no one attended except for the guest, and we had to go out and fetch students from the school, you know. But in a nutshell, what I do, I am a social activist, as I've said, you know. Mainly we deal with workshops, because currently there is an organization, or rather a movement that I'm part of, which is Wisdom Speak, you know. And within the organization, rather, there is a guy who wrote a book, you know, Well of Wisdom. So now from the book, we are taking certain concepts and principles, trying to materialize them to people, you know. And one of our key projects is when we go to trains and taxis, where we take wisdom to those people, you know. Because I believe a train or a bus or a taxi, it's the greatest platform you can ever utilize to express, you know, and tell people that now you are better than the very best, in spite of the vicissitudes or in spite of the difficulties you might be facing. But I mean, you are better than the very best. If you do believe in God, God had no time to create a nobody. That is the message we uphold, you know, because if we allow wisdom to speak, then intelligence will listen and change will be provoked, you know. So
Excellent.
that is me.
What are your
brilliant.
final words to the youth out there?
First and foremost, it's not over until you win, you know. whoever who said you will never make it, they lied to you. You understand? Because no one can, Toni Morrison once said, the definitions belongs to the definer and not the defined. You know, so define your own life. They have so much to say, you know, but stand your ground, know who you are, and just flourish. Because let me just say this, each and everyone has his or her own source, you know, because if you take a tree out of the roots, it will die. If you take a fish out of the water, it will die. So the message I would love to leave with young people is that know your source, understand your ground, and pursue purpose. Then it's done.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Nhlanhla. Thank you very, very much. Well, we're going to cut off to ad break now, but we'll see you just now. Go get warm and cozy, make yourself some tea, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I hope you're all snug and warm.
Yeah, with a tea.
Tea and a blankie. I miss my Hello Kitty blankie.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
and Hello Kitty, it's a
I
problem.
know.
She has an
I'm addicted to
addiction of her own.
Hello Kitty. I need it all. There's this woman in Japan who's got like 40,000 pieces and you have to beat her.
Oh, so you want to beat her?
Yeah.
40,000.
Yeah.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's going to be awesome. Anyway, back to the voice. If you just joined us, we're here tonight talking about drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, bo.
Substance
Substance
abuse. And we are here tonight with Moses Ghana, who is a programs manager and the founder of the Tsohang Youth Project. How are you this evening?
I'm good, and how are you?
We are good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
So could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do with the youth?
Okay, thanks very much. My name is Moses Gama, as you alluded earlier on, based in Katlehong. I'm a program manager of Tsohang Youth Project, of which specializes in prevention and awareness on the scourge that we are faced with of drugs and alcohol abuse, because we believe in our people. Hence, we are striving to make sure that our community becomes a better community with regard to issues of substance and drug abuse. So basically, in a nutshell, we do awareness and prevention. We do referral with treatment and other alternative, because we believe these things and we need a holistic approach.
Okay.
Hence, we refer them to treatment centers. We work with companies like DCETO Training, where they assist with dependable strength and job magnet trainings for recovering addicts and the ones who haven't like experimented with drugs and alcohol abuse. As you heard, and my brother was sitting here. So in the current and legislature, prevention of and treatment and prevention of Act 70 of 2008.
Okay.
We are no longer calling them drug addicts. We are using service users.
Service users.
Service users.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very PC. But yes, okay, to be polite, that's what we'll call them too. Service users. Okay. All right.
So I don't understand why service users.
Yes, like you know, like is the same with a correctional center, where it's no longer called a prison, because we believe that this person has a potential to be rehabilitated. So we are saying they are service users because they have a potential to be transformed, so that they can be able to live a healthy and well and life.
Wow. Yo, I learned something I never knew about
Yeah, I never
before.
knew that happened.
True, okay. And then what are the, in your knowledge, what are some of the most common drugs that are used amongst us teenagers?
Is alcohol and marijuana, of which are gateway to hardcore drugs, because they are easily accessible and for our teenagers. And now, of which and has been the trend is Nyaupe. Nyaupe, it's a mixture of a heroin and dacha and other household products, of which, because remember that the drug lords, they don't care about our well-being. What they care about it's profit, making a profit. So in order to make a profit, they will put all these things so that it could be stronger, and they can be able to make more of these drugs. And as you were asking the question about the antiretrovirals, you'll find like in others they're using those antiretrovirals, and they know those drugs, because others they get these antiretrovirals from nurses and other doctors from the schools and then clinics, and then they take those antiretrovirals, they mix it with heroin and dagga and some household products so that it could be much stronger. And that's why you'll find that there is some of the side effects of inyaupe. It's stomach cramps. It's difficult if you're addicted, and one of the things is highly addictive. It's heroin, of which is found in that drug. So they can't even sleep, some of them, because of those side effects that they are experiencing at night or during the day.
So you also mentioned nurses and doctors. So what I'm trying to get straight is, can we say that with this new drug inyaupe, because it has ARV, someone who knows, who has the knowledge, someone on the top, ofundile, uye oqalele into leyo ukuthi, okay, now ama ARVs, go out, smoke them, you're gonna get higher, like quicker, better, more potent?
Not necessarily. I can't be certain to say that is the certain doctor and so forth. What I know is that the drug lords, the drug peddlers, they are always a step ahead than us, because it's easy for them and to get money from drugs, and when they get money, it's easy to experiment, and they are using and they're recovering addicts, some of the service users, to test some of these drugs. That's why I'll find that now some of our sisters are prostitutes, and when they are prostitutes, they are paid through drugs because they are addicted. Remember that now they are dependent on drugs. So like drugs, by the way, it's a chemical substance, natural and unnatural. When taken, changes normal functioning of the body. So that when it's addicted now, that person is, in order to be normal, when he or she is normal, it's when it's taken a drug, and when it's taken that drug, it's dependent on that drug. So it's difficult and to quit in terms of drug. But we are saying as Sohang and other institutions that we are working with is that it's possible. Hence, we are going all out to spread this message of drugs and alcohol abuse.
Okay. So would you say that alcohol is becoming more of an addiction, more of a sort of negative addiction in the youth of today, as opposed to for fun or enjoyment, for recreational purposes rather? Yeah.
Yes, it is, because as I've said that it's legal, and we spoke of issues of legislature, like we are having a liquor act of which people who are selling this alcohol, they'll sell it to young people, and some of these young people, they are using adult of which and to buy for them, and it's alcohol. It's one of the gateways, as I've said, with dagga, because it's easily accessible, and then when they use that and alcohol, their body gets used and to that alcohol, and at the longer stage, they no longer like get feeling of it, like into like abasaizo, the way Meleba is on a call, and when start to get that, they get deeper and deeper, trying to use other drugs.
Like you said, legislation, and earlier we were speaking in the green room about raising the age for alcohol consumption from 18 to 21. Do you think that would be an effective strategy?
Yes, it will be, because like in 2011, during the second biannual substance abuse forum and summit, in Durban, one of the 34 resolutions that were taken is that we need to increase the age from 18 to 21 based on the research that has been done in terms of that, because when you are like 21, 25, you have matured enough and overall in terms of psychologically and physically, you are in a position to take informed decision, and then you are in a position and to create job for yourself, because you'll be having your diploma, you'll be having your 2 degrees and so forth, and then it's easy for you to do whatever that you want to do in terms of the mind. It's much matured, and then you have man like our sabambi punch. You get what I mean? It's like you'll find that most people who become addicted are people who started earlier compared to somebody who started late when opposed. So all those things, and some of the studies outside the country, it has been shown that when those countries where they started 21, 25, in terms of accidents, in terms of crime, in terms of dysfunctional families, it's lesser, because when you start ill, then which means that drug, that habit need to be maintained. That's why that will find that now they start to commit crimes and so forth. Like more yamakas, you find I'm a kid, you understand why? So that you can buy you can buy other drugs so that you maintain that habit. So we are saying that at 21, it's much better. And then we call for a ban of advertisements, because when they are exposed to drugs, we know with this, they will say drink responsible. But that drinking responsible is only not in bold letters. Small.
The smallest
letters.
font.
You get what I mean? And then you'll find that it's people who are like understand about smart and so forth, but the reality on the ground, most people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol, they are not like that. You understand? So for young people, especially teens, you know, they are most vulnerable. You understand? When they see those things, they see, hey man, I'm say connections, mind connection. You get what I mean? And all those things. But the reality is that, and the industry, they want to influence, and you all know good influence advertisement. So,
there is no advertising alcohol where you'll see a poor person. It's a lavish lifestyle, and that is why we are so drawn to it.
Or a manly lifestyle, or a manly, hard-working style. Manly
and
lifestyle.
We had these slogans of some of the brands. I'll read you quickly. True greatness comes from within, and then the other one says desirably dry and tastefully tempting. And I mean, with slogans like that, you are so easily drawn and attracted to it.
And how do you, with this legislation, and all the steps that's been taken, how do you think that you are going to be able to control the access points? Because you can't monitor every single bottle store. How are you going to be able? How is the government planning on controlling the access points to alcohol?
Yes, as community, like Tuhang Youth Project, we are ears and eyes of the government, because we are the government. That's why it's very important to take charge. Like Tuhang, it's a non-profit organization from the community of which you are the most affected with regard to these issues of substance and drug abuse. And then it's, if we are vested in terms of the legislature, we know what to do, when and how, then it's easy for people. Hence, we are advocating for such laws, so that even the implementation of those laws can be adhered to. Understand? So through awareness campaign, it's where we make people aware that there is this legislature that says you must do this and that and so forth, so that people, they can be aware in terms of what to do or not to do. You understand? But in terms of the legislature is trying to bring everyone on board, so that all of us, we can join hands, because the sketch is escalating, and the sad part is that we are losing most of the people that are affected. It's young people, and it's as you know, that one of the factors is school dropout, of which it's a challenge even at tertiary level. People are not completing their studies. One of the things is drugs.
Drugs and alcohol. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Moses. But unfortunately, we have to run again. So please stay tight and warm and happy, and join us again next time on Connexions.
Tomorrow.
Cheers. Tomorrow, yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.